What's going on, everybody? We're live. We're back. Round two. Today's gonna be a long show. We're not having any shows this week. We're not having a show Monday. We're not having a meetup on Wednesday. Mm, we'll probably won't even have a show next Friday. So we'll be out of pocket for the rest of the week. D, what you shaking your head for? Yeah, okay. D getting started. She already got started early. She's on one today, so it be y'all be watching out for the comments. Y'all watch out in the comment section. Y'all watch out. She's liable to stop the show at any time. I'm just letting you know she on one. D, don't be typing nothing. We don't want to see your comment. Morning, everybody. Everybody else, except for D. What's going on, Intentional Millionaire? How you doing, Sam? What's up? How you doing? Do 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 do. Lot of stuff to talk about. Lot going on. Got some of my stuff set up. You trying to see something, Sam? Good luck. I don't know if you want to see. I don't know if you want to see. Don't look them in the eye, they say. Don't look them in the eye, my guy. That's what they say. Don't look them in the eye, my guy. You don't know what you may pull back. No, might get turned to stone. Don't do it. Buyer beware. Buyer beware. Let me see. All right, so if you didn't watch the show last night, Tech Stocks and Jobs, not Tech Stocks and Jobs, but Foolish Finance Friday, you missed out. Um, Gave y'all some solutions. You might not want to hear them, but they're there. So today I want to talk about a lot of things. Um, we can talk about SBF, Sam Bankman Fried. I got a little Black Rock in here. What's going on, Associate Minister and Reserve Deacon Mr. Terry Jones? How you doing? I have some jobs to talk about because it is tech stocks and jobs. I did say I was going to enroll in some consulting information in here as well. Um, some 401k IRA, some mutual fund talk, some muni bond talk, um, working at a hedge fund. Mm, Let me see. What else? Mm, Let me look at my list. It's a lot. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Stocks. Mm, okay. Money, Schwab, building a portfolio. I think that's something that need to be talked about as well too. And I'll put the land investing under building up a portfolio, but how to invest in land and how you can use AI to help you do land investing. All right. And credit scores. And credit scores. We got a lot to talk about. I wore my Linux Money shirt today for a reason, because we're talking about tech, stocks, and jobs. It's all about the money. What's the song? What you call it? Had D from what's his name? what's the guy name? Eddie Murphy. It's all about it. Was it Eddie Murphy? All about the money. Was that his song? Who had the song? It's all about the money. One of them. I forget. Yeah, must be the money. Yeah. All right. So let's get started with cloud, and then we'll roll into a little bit about money. I think I'll do the 1099 first since we're talking about cloud anyway. Tim with the 230 on the credit score. Or that I see you, Tim. I see you out here tanking. Out here nose diving. All right, so let's start off with Gartner first. And this is about cloud concentration. I'm just trying to show you where there are issues at with the cloud, and then how you can use your skills to help companies resolve their problems. All right. So Gardner says that the cloud concentration now a significant emerging risk for many companies. Everybody was marching off to the cloud, and so now there's problems with it, right? And so it says the risk associated with dependence on a particular cloud provider for multiple business capabilities is at the top of five emerging risks for organizations for the second consecutive quarter, according to a survey at Gartner. Right. So again, having a hybrid or a multi-cloud strategy, a disaster recovery plan, so forth and so on. So those of you wondering like what skill sets are going to be important, where should I be looking at, and how to get into tech, here's a problem to help solve. So how do you get these skills to help solve those problems? So here is one way to do it. One way you can understand was, well, what is the current need now? They have a problem with the cloud. How do we help mitigate that risk? What are the risks? What changes would they like to see? What security risks have arisen? What security risk can I help solve? Everybody wants to be in cyber, but not sure where, so forth and so on. But here we go. I'm showing you how you, as a consultant or W-2 employee or a company, can help mitigate the risk and the problem areas that people are seeing now. Now, utilizing your skill sets, being a T-shape, can help you do that, being that Swiss Army knife. All right. It says in September of 2023, Gartner surveyed 292 risk executives about their views on emerging risk on the horizon. And it says the Gartner 3Q 23 emerging risk report contained detailed information. So I would click on that and get that too. Contain detailed information on the possible impact, time frame, level of attention, perceived opportunities, and more for 20 emerging risks. That's an important report to look at that, right? The risk associated with cloud concentration is fast losing its emerging status as it's becoming a widely recognized risk for most enterprises. The director of research at Gartner Legal and Risk and Compliance Practice. Many organizations are now in a position where they face service disruption in the event of failure of a single provider. Third party, the risk name that how they talked about it is third party viability involving socio-political expectations, mass generative AI ability, cloud concentration risk, personal data regulatory. This right here is probably one of the bigger risks right here. The mass generative AI is because now everybody wants access to those GPUs, and everybody can't have access to all the GPUs. And every cloud provider can't have all the GPUs. So when you're looking at this, you're gonna have to look at this threefold: the access to build and have those models trained, and then who has access to those GPUs on what cloud, who becomes available, right? Who has that can become available. Third party viability and mass generative AI availability both make the top five for the consecutive quarter. Third party viability continued position reflects ongoing shifts in supply chain networks, uneven inflationary effects, and continued labor pressures, stoking fears that third parties may become insolvent. Mass generative AI availability is concerning risk leaders because almost everyone now has easy access to AI models with nascent or non-existent guidelines in place. Now, not only that, right? If you're a startup and your cloud cost is extreme and you want to be on prem to build your model, you have to compete with those who have GPUs. So now you got to complete on-prem with those GPUs and in the cloud with those GPUs, which they're going to charge you extra for as well too. And how long does your model have to train? And how secure is that, right? And what type of data are you putting in the cloud? Do you meet the governance for that? So that means you got to hire somebody. You got to meet the compliance rules. And I talked about this on Wednesday with meeting compliance rules. But then let's look at it from a data perspective. Not only can I got to look at it on who can launch in my cloud, but I got also protect what I have launched in that cloud, right? So cloud concentration risk has come about because many organizations have opted to focus their IT efforts on a handful of strategic providers in order to reduce IT complexity and therefore also risk cost and skill requirements. Not everybody knows AWS, not everybody knows Azure. Swiss Army knife, there you go. You can hop in however you want to. Compounding the problem, a handful of hyperscale vendors dominate the global and regional markets with superior technical capabilities, business reach, and partner ecosystems. Where organizations have chosen to go the route of hosting their IT services in public clouds, there aren't many obvious ways to avoid concentration risk while keeping the benefits of cloud services. Moreover, regulations at the country and subnational level diverge on the concentration risk, anti-competition, data sovereignty, and privacy rules pertaining to cloud services. This is like an obvious thing to me. Like this is an obvious thing to me. The other part is what they're not mentioning in this, or maybe it is later on. I have not read the rest of this. What is also obvious to me is not just the cloud, right? It's the retrofit of the data centers for the GPUs as well. So we got to retrofit all the data centers, meaning Microsoft, Amazon, GCP, everybody. They all have to retrofit that. Yeah, I saw the order. Yep. So again, I keep telling y'all where the skill set is gonna lie forever for the next 10, 15, 20 years. You want to be a W-2 multimillionaire, DevSecOps, site reliability engineering, platform engineering. I'm telling you. They just had their first ever platform engineering conference this year. First ever. They never had one. You're on the cutting edge of this. So that's why I'm trying to tell you all now. You want to be on the cutting edge because everybody's like, oh, I got to go get AI skills. Well, those models got to live on somebody's platform, on somebody's storage, on somebody's network, on somebody's something. They're not just sitting out there, not just doing nothing. They not. You gotta have servers, gotta have GPUs, right? CUDA, understanding the NVIDIA drivers, how to install them, how to set them up, how to use them. NumPy, learn Python, learn Rust. I'm telling you, right? And so what I'm showing you now, I'm giving you the 1099 W2 on your own company perspective, be the solution, and then I'm gonna show you from a 1099 perspective some of the skills out there that they're looking for right now, and then I'm gonna show you how to build out your portfolio, how to keep your taxes low, how to do all of that. And if you didn't catch that W2 millionaire show, W2 multimillionaire show, go back and watch it, episode 124. I gave you the blueprint. I also told you how to look at also told you how to look at companies that put 10%, 12%, and 25% into your 401k. How to be strategic. I did that in the whole show, and I keep finding companies every single day. Every single day, I find these companies, right? So, okay, let's go. What's going on in the chat? It says, when you get a chance, what do you think about IBM getting rid of their 401k? Yeah, I saw that. I talked about that last night. Yep. Something retirement. I gotta go look at what they consider a retirement benefit account, right? I gotta look at what they're calling a retirement benefit account. Our we have a what we call an individual benefit account, which is a IBA. Their retirement benefit account, I don't know what that is. They may just automatically put something into a an account. IBM. A new company benefit for U.S. employees, a retirement benefit account within the existing IBM pension plan, which helps save retirement automatically with no contribution for their employee. Yeah, IBM plans to end the 5% match. Great, they should. 5% don't really get y'all nowhere. I keep trying to tell y'all that, but hey, you want to flex on on 3, 4, 5%? Go ahead, flex. Let's see, IBM, additionally 22, blah, 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 participants, blah, blah, blah. By introducing this retirement benefit and IBM pension plan, which is stable and well funded, IBM is able to provide a benefit to IBM's that also helps diversify their retirement portfolios. We periodically benchmark the benefits IBM offers compared to the peers. 5% is aligned with the market, but in addition, the RBA, no employee contribution is required. Yeah, so they're not what they're saying is they're not they're actually going to just automatically contribute. It says guaranteed 6% annual interest rate for 3 years, tax deferred growth. Even when the market declines, your balance will not. No enrollment necessary. No investment decisions to make, and immediately invested and portable. You know what this sound like to me, Tim? You know what it sound like to me? It sound like they put everybody into one of those fixed annuities, and they have an annuity set up where if the market gains, they get the gains, but it'll never go below whatever they locked in at whatever rate, whether it's 8% or what have you. That's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like they rolled into an annuity program to me, but that's just me. I could be wrong. It says address some differences in the existing plan IBM 401k plus. We recognize 5% is less than employees are eligible to receive through a 401k plan, so forth and so on. Yeah, it sounds like an IBA or an annuity they rolled them into. That's what it sounds like to me. Um, Everybody up in arms about it. Mm, I don't know. It depends on what they're putting in. The technology will still allow employees to make deferrals into their 401k, but it will direct 5% of the employee's salary into the terms of the yeah, so it's right here. So they automatically putting in 5%. They can still make their percentage. So I talked about this before, talked about it last night. They automatically gonna put 5% into their retirement benefit account. It's 5% of their salary. It's a win for them. So it actually gives them a leg up. So that the employer is taking on the cost, right? The employer is taking on the cost. So what that looks like is like this. So if we got $100,000 that you're getting paid from IBM, and they put 5% in, automatically they're gonna put $5,000 into your IBA or retirement benefit account, RBA. So they're gonna automatically put 5,000. You, as the employee, don't do nothing. They just gonna put $5,000 in. Here's the caveat: because it is a retirement benefit account between employee and employer, the new rate is 73,000 that can go in to that account. Now, let's do the 73,000 minus, oops, 73,000 minus 5,000. So there's still 68,000 in there, right? So it's $68,000 left, but you can only put in up to 23,000 this year. So that's cool. I just did a video on the updates on the retirement account contribution limits on the IRS. Great mind. Yep, yep. No employer is not taking on the cost. Well, they're not taking on the cost, but they're taking on putting in the money. It's coming out of your pre-tax income. Then it's a tax write-off. Oh yeah, it's great. It's a great play. And when it pays out, you have to pay income taxes on at that time. Of course, it's still you got to pay the income taxes, but from the employer perspective, they're going to take on that cost. They're going to take on putting in that money. But again, most people, and this is just my thought, most people aren't putting in 30, $40,000 into their 401k. So if my employer can put in 30, $40,000, I'm cool with that. That's just how I look at it. That's how I look at it. And you put the 30 or 40,000 in there, and then I put in my 23,000. I'll take that. Again, that's from an employer perspective. Of course, it's a tax write-off for an employer. Sure, I'll take that. Right. So again, from this perspective right here, the five you still have the employees still to can be able to make deferrals into a 401k, but it will direct 5% of the employee's salary into a terms of a retirement benefit account. How can a single individual take advantage of this plan utilizing the tax code? You will have to be your own company. And I think you have to have 50, I think it's a minimum of 50 people that you have to have, or you can't grow no larger than 50 people in order to do that for IBA. And then there is certain limits. And here's the other thing too. There are certain limits on when you can have 401k plans and insurance plans on a company size. And I think it starts at 15, but don't quote me on that. But I think it starts at 15. Do I think knowing 7 Linux distributions, blah blah blah? No one cares about the 7 distributions that you know. The only 2 that matter is Ubuntu and RxCSA for industry standards. Do 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 do. What do I think about the new CEO of Morgan Stanley, the 5-mile CEO? I haven't looked at him. I haven't looked at him. All right. So back to this one. So that was the IBM one. All right. So here, the 3 potential consequences of risk according to Gartner. Wide incident blast radius. The more applications depend on a particular cloud provider, the greater the potential breadth of impact of the cloud service issue. Have vendor dependence, regulatory compliance failures. Organizations may be unable to meet regulatory demands to address concentration risk across different regulatory bodies, right? And then this is the risk report that they had right here. Oh, I gotta download it. I ain't gonna do that. I'll touch on this next week. If you want to go and download it, and that's fine, but I ain't gonna do it right now. All right. So now that we're talking about all of this stuff, let's work backwards here. And let me go to my email. Let me go to my notes here. All right. So I found this position here, and let's talk about it. All right. You are the consultant in this case. You are the consultant in this case. In this case, this is a Red Hat consultant. They are looking for someone from Stone Door Group that provides Linux-based consulting services to various enterprise clients, various enterprise clients. Let me blow it up some. And here they're saying we are currently in need of 1099 or corp to corp consultants with experience installing, configuring, managing Red Hat infrastructure using satellite, Ansible, Red Hat Identity Manager, and Red Hat SSO. We have a pipeline of projects ranging from 3 to 10 weeks. The ideal consultant has a current RHCSA, RHCE, or RHCA certification in one of the above technologies. They say we do everything in our power to keep you busy. We can get you certified on 20 plus technologies. Again, they're talking about all the technologies. Our projects are solid, no dumpster fires. We pay every 2 weeks, ACH, always since the first day of business. They're looking for a U.S. citizen. They do not support anyone with an H-1B1 or anything else. They want Red Hat certified candidates, production implementation experience with Red Hat Satellite, Identity Manager, and so forth, single sign-on experience with OpenShift and Kubernetes. Most of our work is remote, but in case we have engagements that require travel, it would be your decision whether or not you want to accept the travel engagement. If you're looking for freedom and meaningful work, then get in touch with us, right? 1099, right? So when I talk about uh, getting your Red Hat skills, here's what I'm talking about. That's just an example of one, right? So I have alerts set up for me from 10 different sites on contract work. I'll do a deeper dive on more contract work, but I do have some other jobs. I thought I had them in my notes, but it looks like they're not in my notes. But let me double verify in here. Now I have to go to my email, which I didn't want to. Let me go to my email real quick. Let's see. Because I looked at a job last night and it required you to have a degree. They wanted you to have a degree. Let's see. Site reliability. No, those are all DevOps ones. Let me see. I'm looking for my ones that are remote and corp to corp. But it's not, I'll just look at one of these jobs and we'll walk through one of them, which is fine. There's a cloud architect, there's Databricks, Morgan Stanley. These are all lead positions. Let's now look at, that's an architect. That's fine. We'll look at these. They just came over. All right. So here's a site reliability engineer. This is with General Dynamics, and it's a bonus eligible. So some of the bonus that I've been seeing coming out lately have been between 40 to $7,000, 70,000 for sign-on bonuses. That's what I've been seeing lately on the senior side. But let's go through this one here. This is SRE, requires systems engineering, some a master's degree in understand agile. They want you to have your clearance. Sign on bonus up to 23,000. Again, this one right here is with Bill Submarines. Site reliability engineer for GDSM Space and Intelligence of line of business. Blow it up a little bit more. You'll be a member of a cross-functional team, making sure the systems are up, automating system administration activities, configuring, monitoring, enterprise experience for administering Linux systems, creative thinker, demonstrated insurance system uptime, collaborative team player, thorough knowledge of technology trends, strong presentation and communication skills, commitment to ongoing development, everything that I tell y'all about, right? The range from this is in some Colorado Springs. It's from 115 to 128. The compensation information listed is good faith, blah, 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 blah. That's with GD, right? So that's with a site reliability engineer with a 23,000 sign on bonus. Now, I want you to notice something. This is a site reliability engineer. It is not a staff site reliability engineer or a principal site reliability engineer or distinguished. Once you start adding staff, distinguished, principal on, the pay range goes up. So that's why I say to you all, you got to figure out where your skill sets are. Because if you looked at this job, I would apply, and then I would ask them, do they have a position for a staff, like I'm more of a staff or I'm more of a principal, and then ask for the range that you want in that case, right? So just because you see the job right here like this doesn't mean they're not looking for someone that is a staff or something of that nature, right? Let me go back over here to my LinkedIn. So what do you do with the $23,000 that you get after taxes? What do you do with that money? What are you gonna do with that? Pay off bills? Is that the answer? Is that where we're going with? Right? The question is, what are you gonna do with the money once you get it paid off? Once you get that money hits your account. So once the 23,000 hits your account, are you gonna throw it into a 401k? Or are you gonna throw it into IUL? Or what are you gonna do with it? Because I think it'd be about 17,000 once you get it. 16,100. 16,100. We'll just call it even 16,000. What are you gonna do with 16,000 once it hit your account? Where's that money gonna grow? Do you want it to grow in 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months? What does that look like? Um, your choice is yours. So this is why I say when you're applying for these jobs and looking at stuff, how are you gonna make this money, right? How are you gonna make this money? Right? All right, so you say you're gonna throw it into a Roth. Okay. Why a Roth? Why not throw it into a high yield savings account? I'm just curious. Why not go buy a, you can do muni bonds or something else, right? Just why Roth, right? All right. So with that being said, we're gonna work backwards. This is not it. That's not what I want to go through. Let me do this. Let me pull this up. All right. So we're going to work backwards here. And I'm gonna introduce, and I've talked about this lady before, but we're gonna get into some stuff. That's what we're gonna do. Let's go here. History. All right. So let's do two of them. I don't want to spend a. I'm not gonna watch. We're not gonna watch the whole video. I just want to introduce you to the person that I think you can go watch on your own for your own, because the videos are rather long for me on here. They're 10 minutes long. All right, so let's go. All right, so in here, she is referring to municipal bonds and corporate bonds. And she talks about how to set up your alerts and stuff on Fidelity and Vanguard. However, this came out 5 days ago, and a lot of them got ate up already. A lot of people bought them already that were returning 6% to 8%. So I just want to show you, not necessarily how to set them up, but go look at them. I'm not telling you to go invest in them. It's not financial advice. Just go look at them for your own education, right? Municipal bonds, corporate bonds, investing, returning 6 to 8%. So let's go watch the first couple of minutes of it and go from there.
8%. And in some cases, even higher than 8%. That's where many of the new issue longer maturity corporate and municipal bonds are currently coming to market at. Hello, members and super savers. I hope you're having a good week. So, with the rates that I just shared with you, it's no wonder that some of the best yielding new issue corporate and municipal bonds that we've seen recently have sold out in as little as 2 hours. So, with that little time available to get some of these attractive rates, and before we expand any further into corporates and munis.
All right, 6 to 8% on these corporate bonds and municipal bonds. And she goes in this video, and there is another video, I'm gonna pull it up too, where she talks about one, how to set up alerts, two, not just setting up alerts, but understanding what is the difference between the two of them, right? Well, why would you go with a gold bond versus a municipal, right? And what is the difference between the two? What's the return on them? The tax implications on those as well too, right? So I'm just trying to get y'all to understand from this perspective, like, hey, here's some other alternatives. A lot of people like ETFs. A lot of people like playing leaps and options. Some people like to be aggressive and risk. Some people are conservative. They're like, hey, I'm cool with 5 to 8% consistently for the rest of my life with no risk. With no risk. And so they look for ways to get into those different markets that return those things for them. I'm not telling you have to do either or. I'm just saying here's some options. All right. No Hawaii, Danny. No Hawaii. All right. So that's one. Let me go back and I'll give you these links, but let me pull this other one up here. So she talked about the I bonds as well too. So let me pull this up because apparently high I bonds, and I thought they hit a high rate last year or year before last at the, was it 9.8 or 9.86 or something like that. But this is fixed I bonds. So
The last time,
let me go back. So
the highest I bond fixed rate in 16 years. What your new rate will be depending on when you bought your I bonds, plus why we're buying more I bonds and who might want to do what we're doing. Hello, members and super savers. I hope you're healthy and well. Finally, here it is.
Every time she said hello, I'd be like, hello, honey. Hello.
The November I bond rate video so many of you have been waiting for, with actual numbers rather than just predictions. Predictions, which by the way, were pretty good, or the announced I bond fixed rate for November came in at the very top range of what we had estimated, but more on this very soon. These are the 3 highly anticipated topics I'll be covering in today's video. As usual, here's our front of video disclaimer. For a detailed disclaimer, please refer to the end of this video. Let's dive in now, folks. As I just showed you, this is the I bond fixed rate for all I bonds issued on November 1st, 2023 through to April 30th, 2024 that was announced on Halloween. And I've always loved Halloween. It's one of the 2 American traditions I miss the most when we lived abroad, the other being Thanksgiving. But Halloween has taken on a whole new meaning now that the Treasury announces the November I bond rate on October 31st, rather than on November 1st like they used to. Anyway, I digress. Probably too much candy. Going back to this November I bond fixed rate of 1.3%. If we scroll down, we can see that the last time the I bond fixed rate was this high was over 16 years ago in May of 2007.
Now, why am I showing you this? Some of y'all are risk adverse. Some of you are risk adverse. So you got I bonds, you have gold, you got munis. I'm talking low risk, low return. Low risk, low return. If you want to be aggressive, there's other things you can do. We're just talking low risk, low return. All right. So now let me look at my thing here and pull up the mutual funds. So here it is right here. All right. So here we go. Again, if you want to build your portfolio, you need to sit down, schedule some time. I would say at least schedule some time with yourself to know what is available to you in setting up your portfolio, and then do your own your own investigation. For example, let's go here. So here is mutual fund basics. It came out in November the 2nd, 2023. Mutual funds have been an investing staple for many investors because of the diversification they provide, right? And they have a video, and we'll look at it in a minute. But here, there's like, are mutual funds right for you? Here's more about bond on bond funds. And this stuff is free. You don't need to log in to get this on Charles Schwab or log in on Vanguard to get none of this information. Just again, just think about it. All right, so let's look at this video. I may have to put it over in my other browser. Let's go here and let's pull this over. All right, mutual fund. Is this the right one? Yeah. All right, so now let's go here. Let me know if y'all can hear this too, by the way.
A mutual fund is a collective investment that pools together the money of a large number of investors to purchase a variety of securities, like stocks or bonds. Think of a mutual fund like a basket of investments. When you purchase a share in a mutual fund, you are buying one share of this basket, and therefore have a stake in one small fraction of all the investments in that fund. Mutual funds can potentially benefit investors in several ways. They can provide diversification. Most are managed by financial professionals, and they offer investors a wide variety of investment types. To see these benefits in action, let's walk through an example of how a mutual fund works. Suppose there's an investor who wants to invest some of their retirement portfolio in the stock market, but they don't have time to analyze individual stocks and create a diversified stock portfolio. Instead, they decide that they'd rather purchase a mutual fund. This way, the investor can purchase a single investment, which will be similar to purchasing an entire portfolio of stocks. But which mutual fund is right for them? To find the right one, the investor uses online tools, such as mutual fund searches and ratings given by independent third-party organizations, to find a mutual fund that meets their investing goals. Once they find a fund that looks like a good fit, they review the fund's prospectus, which is the official summary and explanation of how the fund operates.
So pause right there. Have y'all ever read a prospectus before? And do you know what a prospectus is? Have you read a prospectus before? And do you know what a prospectus is? That's the important piece. All right. And drop a 1 in the chat if this information is understandable for you. And also make sure you let me know if this is okay for you. Like, drop a 1 in the chat if you got it. Let me know, whatever, right? Cool. All right. So a prospectus and also what a mutual fund is, right? Going through basics. I'm just going through the basics, but I'm showing you how to find the information as well too for your own edification, right? Of course, you can use Chat GPT, and we're going to talk about Chat GPT a little later. But let's do this.
Prospectus provides useful information about the fund, including its fees and charges, minimum investment amounts, performance history, risks, and more. After researching the fund and its prospectus, our investor decides that this fund looks like a good investment. So they buy the minimum required investment amount and purchase shares of the mutual fund. By owning shares, the investor now participates in the gains and losses of all companies held in the fund. A benefit of this is diversification, which is when an investment or portfolio is spread across several different investments. Doing this can help lower risk. For example, if one company that the fund invests in has a rough year, the impact on the fund's total assets can be small, because that struggling company is only one fraction of the fund's total assets. Another potential benefit is professional management. Like many other mutual funds, the fund the investor chose is actively managed, meaning it is run by a fund manager or managers who buy and sell the fund's assets. Fund managers aim to provide the biggest returns they can for investors by using financial analysis and professional expertise. While a talented manager could earn good returns for the investor's fund, there is no guarantee of success. If a manager makes choices that don't pay off, our investor won't earn the returns they were hoping for. However, if the fund doesn't perform well, the manager still collects a fee, which is paid from fund assets, meaning even lower returns. Management fees aren't the only costs our investor has to pay either. Besides transaction fees, the fund may have a sales load, which is a charge to either buy or sell shares. Some funds also charge an additional load if shares are sold within a specific time frame. Now that the investor has bought into a fund, how might they make money from it? One way is through appreciation, which is when the fund's shares go up in value. Typically, when the fund's assets rise in value, the fund's shares do the same. However, when the fund's assets fall in value, the fund's shares do the same, which is a risk of owning a mutual fund. Unlike a stock, the value of a fund's shares does not change throughout the trading day. Instead, the fund's value is calculated and updated when the market closes. Another way an investor might make money through a mutual fund is from a dividend payment, which is when a mutual fund pays out a portion of its earnings to shareholders. Finally, another benefit of mutual funds is the variety of investments they make available. Our investor chose a mutual fund that invested in stocks. However, there's a mutual fund for almost every type of investment. For example, equity funds buy stocks, fixed income funds buy bonds, and balanced funds buy both. Some mutual funds may invest in a whole index, while others focus on stocks of a certain country or market sector. Certain funds have different objectives as well. Some may look for riskier stocks in growing industries, while others will invest in more stable companies. There's a lot to learn about mutual funds and other investments, and we've got the resources to help you get started. Take a look at more of our investing education.
All right. So you heard about the mutual funds, right? So now let's look at this, because I know a lot of you are like, well, what about the index funds? All right. So we're going to go back and forth a little bit. So bear with me. So here is index funds virtual versus mutual funds. Anybody that follows Dave Ramsey, he's always talking about mutual funds. And a lot of y'all probably invest in index funds, and there, or you may invest in both, or you may not have ever read anything about mutual funds. You see, you said I have not read it fully, but yes, I know what it is, a pamphlet explaining the company plan and the members. You're welcome for the work. No problem. Right. All right. So let's go. Three main differences are management style, investment objective, and cost. Index funds are the clear winner over the long term. Right. So again, what's your plan? Right. So my thought process, and this is what I do. Right. I have a portfolio for, like, hey, this is really really aggressive here. And then I have another portfolio that's really, really non aggressive. So you all have to figure out if you want to do something like that. That's just what I do. Because I just want to be like, okay, if I meet my mark, let's be conservative over here in slow growth. I'm okay with slow growth. I'm okay with 5, 8, 10. I'm cool. Once we start getting into 20, I don't think that's, I personally don't think that's stocks. I think that's playing options. I think that's also playing in another arena. I think money is bigger. That's just me. I could be wrong, right? And it could be in real estate, but that's just me. All right, so let's go. This came out July the 14th. All right, so here we go. Key takeaways: index funds seek market average returns, while active mutual funds try to outperform the market, and that's key there. I'll read it again. Index funds seek market average returns, while active mutual funds try to outperform the market. All right. Active mutual funds typically have higher fees than index funds. So understand there's a fee associated with it. And in that last video, they talked about the fees that are associated with the mutual funds. Index funds performance is relatively predictable. Active mutual fund performance tends to be less so. The biggest difference between index funds and mutual funds is the index funds invest in a specific list of securities, such as the S&P 500 listed companies only, while active mutual funds invest in a changing list of securities chosen by an investment manager. So now you got to go do your thoughts and your research on how well has the investment manager picked, what is their track record, what are they leaning towards, where's money being invested at, what cities are doing what. Again, looking at it from that perspective, right? All right. So over a long period, investors may have a better shot at achieving higher returns with an index fund. Exploring these differences in depth reveals why. All right. So index versus mutual fund, right? Index versus mutual fund. Index fund match the returns of the benchmark index, whereas the mutual fund is trying to beat the returns of the benchmark index, right? Stocks and bonds. What are the holdings? Stocks and bonds and other securities. Same for mutual funds. Management is passive. Investment mix matches the benchmark index. And then for mutual funds, active stock pickers choose holdings. Now, here's the average fees. Here are the average fees they're showing you here, right? Here are the average fees. The average fees could be $5 or $44, right? So, what is the difference between mutual funds and index funds? One difference between the index and the regular mutual funds is management. Regular mutual funds are actively managed, but there's no need for human oversight on buying and selling within the index funds, whose holdings automatically track the index, such as the S&P 500. And if a stock is in the index, it'll be in the fund too. So some people do funds, index funds, some people do mutual funds, right? Because no one is actively managing the portfolio performance is simply based on the price movements of the individual stocks in the index and not someone trading in and out of stocks. Index investing is considered a passive investing strategy. So remember, I talked about this before, being having a passive investing strategy or an active investing strategy. We talked about this. If you don't remember this, go to Seeking Alpha or Investopedia and look the two up. They'll give you clear different definitions of those. One second. Okay. In an actively managed mutual fund, a fund manager or management team makes all the investment decisions. They are free to shop for investments for the fund across multiple indexes and within various investment types, as long as what they pick adheres to the fund stated charter. They choose which stocks and how many shares to purchase or punt from the portfolio, right? So I'm assuming this goes with this. Yes. Investment goals. If you can't beat them, join them. That's essentially what index investors are doing. The sole investment objective of an index fund is to mirror the performance of the underlying benchmark. When the S&P 500 zigzags, so does the S&P index mutual fund. The investment objective of an actively managed mutual fund is to outperform the market averages. So there's risk. I hope y'all understand that there's risk there. It's to outperform where the index is trying to match. Mutual outperform, index match, right? Trying to match, right? So the investment objective of the actively managed mutual fund is to outperform the market averages, to earn higher returns by having as experts strategically pick investments they think will boost overall performance. History has shown that it's extremely difficult to beat passive market return, aka indexes, year in and year out, according to the S&P indexes versus active, I guess SPIVA scorecard. Only 6% of the funds outperformed the S&P 500 in the last 15 years. That being said, there are some fund managers that do beat the market when the conditions are right. The scorecard says that in the past year, 48.92% of the funds have outperformed the market. How think about the rocky landscape of 22. Some of the top companies in the S&P account for a big part of that index, and those companies have seen declines. If you chose active management, particularly when the overall market is down, then you might have the opportunity to make higher returns, at least in the short term. Short term, short term, short term, short term, right? Instead of tracking an index, a fund manager could seek to diversify your portfolio a bit more by buying value stocks or asset weighting towards that other company. But in exchange for potential outperform with an actively managed fund, you'll pay a higher price for the manager's expertise, which leads us to the next and perhaps the most critical difference between index and actively mutual funds is the cost. Cost, as you imagine, it costs more to have people running the show. There are investment managers' salary, bonuses, employee benefits, office space, cost of marketing materials to attract more investors to the mutual fund. Who pays the cost? You, the shareholder. They're bundled into a fee called the mutual fund expense ratio. And herein lies one of the investors' world biggest catch 22s. Investors pay more to own shares of an actively managed mutual fund, hoping they perform better than the index funds. But the higher fees investors pay cut directly into the returns they receive from the fund, leading to many actively managed mutual funds to underperform. Index funds cost money too to run, too, but a lot less when you take those full-time Wall Street salaries out of the equations. That's why index funds and their bite-sized counterparts, ETFs, have become known and celebrated in their low investment costs compared with the actively managed funds. But the sting of fees doesn't end with the expense ratio because it's deducted directly from an investor's annual returns. That leaves less money in the account to compound and grow over time. Double whammy, and the price can run high. Index funds also tend to be more tax efficient, but there are some mutual fund managers that add tax management into the equation, and that can sometimes even things out a bit. The mutual fund managers can offset gains against losses and hold stocks for at least a year, resulting in a long-term capital gains taxes, which are generally less expensive than the short-term capital gains, right? So that shows you what the difference is. Now, let's go over to here. And this is from Nerd Wallet, the 7 best performing mutual funds from November of 2023. All right, so this is what they said that will perform the best. Let's hop down here, shopping. All right, here they go. So BlackRock Exchange had a 5-year return, and I consider 5 years short term, of 12.53%. The next one is State Street US Core Equity Fund, ticker symbol SSAQX, of 12.24% in 5 years. Payson Total Return 12.09, Pear Tree Quality Ordinary 12.009. I guess Sorrow Film Equity 11.94, Fidelity US Stability Index 11.75, and Columbia Contrarian Core Advance, I'm assuming 11.69. This is from Morningstar. They go in and tell you what a mutual fund is. They also got an advertisement in there where you can get it from, how to choose the best mutual fund, and the average mutual fund return versus the ETFs and so forth. They also, again, remember fees. There are bond mutual funds with lower returns but lower risk. Bond mutual funds, as the name suggests, invest in a range of bonds and provide a more stable rate of return than the stock funds. As a result, the potential average returns are lower. Investors buy government and corporate debt for a set of repayment period and interest rate. While no one can predict the future stock market returns are considered safer, investment or government companies typically pay back their debt. right? Then they go into mutual fund fees here and so forth. And I dropped this link so you could go through and read it. I'm not going to read all this, it's very long, but I thought it was a good way to introduce you to mutual funds and so forth. So here we go with that. That's in the back chat for you all. All right. So I found this as well too. We're going to talk about this here. All right, investing ranking mutual funds. Now, that's just mutual funds, but if you look at this link here, let me blow it up. It also has how to rank your ETFs, right? Stocks and mutual funds, right? So most popular funds, long term, short term, small growth, high yield, large value, real estate, mid cap, corporate, technology, health, and target date retirement. Target date funds, the 2040, the 2050, the 2060, right? US stock funds, taxable bond funds, sector funds, muni bonds or municipal bonds, international stock funds, balanced funds, alternative funds, and commodity funds. You can go through each one of these and start writing yourself a glossary of terms for something that you can understand. And that will help you out so that you know what is what and so forth, right? So let's click on long-term bond. Long-term bond portfolios invest primarily in investment-grade U.S. fixed index issues, including government, corporate, and seized debt. Their durations typically range above 125% of the 3-year average of the effective duration of the Morningstar Core Index Fund. And then they go into you and they show you what's out there and what they're returning, right? So you can look at this link and say, okay, I just want to educate myself on what's what, right? You can click on stocks, right? And they say, okay, well, what are some defensive picks? Number one, they got Marathon, which I'm in, Novo, and Starbucks. And then they got earnings stalwarts, top performers, top dividend stocks. Come down here, then they break them up into sectors. So you know what sectors that you may want to be in and what companies are in those sectors as well too, right? Energy minerals, producer manufacturing. This gives you a way so you can look and say, okay, what do I want to be in? Go look up and see how that's performed. Prime example, let's just pick something. Let's pick life insurance. I'm just gonna click on something. And then they have the actual ticker symbol, right? And what I would do is go over to Google Finance, or you can go to Yahoo, and let's stick in that ticker symbol here, EHTH, EHTH, EHTH. All right, and now what I want to do is I want to see what it's performed over its entire history. You can see that it's down. Its entire history is down. Now, when was it created? I don't know. But again, you can see over here past 2010 sometime, 2006, it's down. So is that something that I want to invest in? Probably not. Probably not. But I'm showing you how you can do your own research on it. What is it? What do they do? Become familiar. Do your own, set up your own guide. Take out an Excel sheet, and you can tie the links to. You can use API calls on your Excel sheet, on your Google Sheets, to reach out to these actual to these actual API of Google Finance, and it'll give you updates like you want to get the max performance of each one of these that you pick, each stock or each fund that you pick. It give you the max return on those. And so now you can then take that, once you get that, then sort it by what has returned the max, and then create a list, a watch list based on what has returned the max for you, and what is it, and is it diversified? And then you can start setting up your watch list to say, okay, well, let me watch this for another month or 2 months or whatever you want to do, and then go from there. Does that make sense to everybody? Let's see, Tim, you said the iShares mutual fund index funds on the menu. I told the server I wanted that sample to each. I made money on all three. Yep. Right. So I'm just showing you different ways that you can utilize what's out there given to you. Create you a Google sheet. Go through these things. I'll give you these links here because you can click on ETFs and it'll have most popular ETFs, rankings by asset class, US stock ETFs, taxable bond ETFs, sector ETFs, municipal bond ETFs, internal stock ETFs, balance ETFs, alternative, and commodities. And you can pick through here what you want. You have ETF stocks and mutual funds. You can go through these different things so you can get an understanding. And here's a comprehensive methodology that they have right here for uh, ETFs right here, right? Rankings, find a vetted financial advisor, understand what an expense ratio is, tracking error, bid and ask ratio, diversification, funds without data for these components outlined above are excluded from our ranking. What is an expense ratio? What is the tracking error? What is the bid and ask risk? Diversification, how it's measured, so forth and so on, right? So I thought this would be a good way, a good intro for you all to have just to get started so that when you get on the phone and you're talking to a financial advisor or you're talking to anyone that's helping you set up and diversify your portfolio, you at least got a baseline of where you can go look for information and understand what it actually means. And then you can use Google Finance or Yahoo Finance or even your own brokerage accounts to look up the performance of those, look at the prospectus of those, do your own due diligence and research. It sounds like work, but it's your money. So if you want somebody else to work your money versus you, that's cool. You can pay someone that 1% if you want to, or you can get your own education, set up a little conservative portfolio, uh, put $1,000 in there and invest that $1,000, or you can say, I want to invest something else. I want somebody else to manage my money. But again, most people don't start managing your money until you get over $250,000 in assets. So just being honest with you, most people don't even look at you. They were like, call me when you got something. That's what the truth is there. All right. All right. So let's see. That was the ETFs. Last but not least, let's pull this over. How does Chat GPT tie into this? All right. So back in I think this was a September thing. Um Chat GPT was given $20,000 to invest into stocks and crypto, and here's how it made $2,000 in a month. All right, the surge in popularity of artificial intelligence, notably Chat GPT, has been helping people be more efficient at work, among other functions. Right. So, News BTC recently conducted an experiment with the AI tool to invest in stocks and crypto. The results were surprising. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Um, in the end of the month, it had a 1946 profit was made after following Chat GPT's advice for the month. With crypto investing making 130% more than stocks, and Rivian and Solana having the highest returns, crypto investment earned 1359 and stocks earned 587, 587 according to the experiment. News BTC said that after a little bit of training, ChatGPT suggested exactly how much to budget to invest in each stock and coin. Jonathan Millett, business consultant at News BTC, said that while he was fully aware of Solana's strong community backing and the widespread trust in its stability, he didn't anticipate that increased profits would be more than double the ROI of Bitcoin. The Little Book of Common Sense interviewing John C. Bagel was a wonderful guy. CA, I don't know why I was saying CA. Helmut Chili, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. In terms of stocks, he said it was interesting that Rivian, oh yeah, I said that. He was surprised most by the particular stock missing from ChatGPT's investment suggestion Meta, which recently released Twitter's competitor Threads. It also released a perfect time after the news that Twitter was limiting the number of tweets its users could see. This isn't one of stocks ChatGPT suggested investing in, despite Thread record user growth and positive impact on Meta stock price. Had ChatGPT record invested 1,000 in Meta, the value would have been risen by 1,100 by the study close. By the studies close, a greater ROI than Amazon or Apple. Another hiccup, let me see, was the one of the stocks ChatGPT suggested, Waymo, is not publicly traded. Something some experts think proves ChatGPT is still in its infancy. ChatGPT isn't going to make you rich by picking stocks. ChatGPT might be useful to summarizing evergreen investing techniques or different styles of investing. Let's use common sense. Do you really think a free tool of or even $20 version a month is going to do all the work for you to make you wealthy? Chat GPT is a tool. Get skilled using it, but it's still up to you to make the right final decisions, right? So I just want to bring that up because I know some people are like, well, I use Chat GPT, but again, this is just a little different. You said the mutual fund link can be found on the host website. Please check the link address. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Nerd Wallet one, this one. Can't you cut and paste in here? I don't know. Can you just click on them? I don't know. I thought you could, but I'm in the show, so that don't work for me. That didn't work for me because I'm in the show. All right. So that's that. That's that. That's that. And I have them. Uh, we can put them in the thing. All right. So let's go with this one. We close that one. Close that one. We talked about this. All right. Why did Jeff Bezos move to Miami? Is a great tax play for the billionaire. Wealthy households are moving to Florida by the droves. We saw last night. I talked about the places where billionaires, where we have billionaires at, and where they're living at. What states have them? We also talked about. We also talked about um, taxes as well too. Right? D said they come up for her. All right, so here we go. Seattle will always have a piece of Jeff Bezos' heart, according to the billionaire from Amazon. But watch the state tax coffers will not always be have a piece of Bezos' wealth. Thursday, he's moving from Seattle to Miami after 3 decades in Seattle. Bezos said in an Instagram post that he's moving to be closer to his aging parents and Cape Canaveral, Florida. You wonder why he's moving to Cape Canaveral, Florida, the Space Coast. He is moving to the Space Coast. Why is he moving to the Space Coast? Don't be fooled. Listen, I keep trying to tell y'all where all the money is going. If you're not, see, y'all worried about AI on Earth. Y'all worried about AI on Earth. There's a whole new world in space. A whole new world in space. AI in space. AI in satellites. Y'all worried about AI now. They just got y'all down here for entertainment. So AI in space, budget, I guess this will be a term there. Sure, let's go with that. All right, here we go. AI and space budget. FY 2024 DoD budget includes increased investments in cybersecurity that are related to AI, including 67.4 billion for cyber, IT and electric warfare capabilities, 145 billion for research and development activities, and 33.3 billion for space. AI, space. Just trying to show you. How is NASA using AI? In fact, I wanted to review this, but we're gonna go here and do OpenStack and NASA. And it's gonna come with this here, Open Infrastructure Day. Um, how NASA is using OpenStack. How is NASA using OpenStack and AI? Again, back to the infrastructure. Back to the infrastructure here. All right. So let's go back over to this one. This came out on the 23rd of March. I mean, the 13th of March of 2023. The Pentagon is requesting $3 billion for AI. I talked about that before. The impact of AI on space investment, geospatial world. Um, Again, the Pentagon to spend 874 million on AI and machine learning next year. That was 2021. 101 million for quantum and AI, 34 million for space. The stuff that you all are talking about locally in on AI in the States and generative AI, you need to be looking at space. You want to know where you're going to be at for the next 10 to 15 years? Space, AI, billions. Infrastructure, billions. Anybody with Red Hat, Linux, cloud, even on-prem VMware, OpenStack, Kubernetes, paid. You want to eat? You want to be the W-2 millionaire? That's how you eat. If you don't, cool. Go get your A plus and work at the help desk. Let's just say, pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. All right. So Jeff Bezos, all right. He's moving closer to his parents, Cape Canaveral, for operations in Blue Origin, his space travel company. Florida state tax regulations are probably also a draw for Jeff Bezos, especially when compared to Washington rules. At the Florida-based law firm, whatever, the news that Bezos plan move came no surprise to the tax attorney. Gould, senior counselor at the firm, said well heeled people have been moving to Florida from other states by the droves. He added, in my firm, there are many ultra high net worth clients. I talked about this last year or earlier this year that JP Chase Morgan was putting in 1,500 new uh, high net worth, ultra high net worth agents in Texas, California, and Florida. It's for a reason, right? In my firm, there are many ultra high net worth clients who have done this exact same thing, and it's mostly a tax play. The ultra high net worth, in this case, clients worth at least 50 million. There are also other reasons people move to Florida. He noted included business-friendly regulations, favorable laws on protection of assets like homes, the beaches, the weather help too, right? And if no state income tax is what a person is looking for, Washington does have its appeal. Florida and Washington are two of the 9 states without their own income tax. The IRS stats on household wealth flowing in and out of the state shows 9.2 billion in adjusted growth income from 2020 to 2021. In the same period, Washington added 178 million in adjusted growth income. By contrast, California lost 29 billion adjusted gross income, the numbers show, right? The real benefit for Florida over Washington for Jeff Bezos is the lack of tax on capital gains income, right? Washington has a 7% capital gains tax that applies on capital gains above 250,000. Washington also has an estate tax that currently applies to estates worth more than 2.19 million. The estate tax rates go from 10% to 20%. Bezos is currently worth 161 billion. Billionaires tend to move out of state where estate taxes as they grow older, according to 2019 study from researchers of University of California. Bezos leaving Washington state as lawmakers have proposed a wealth tax that will affect billionaires like him. The proposed tax on extreme wealth will apply on excess value beyond the 250 million mark. By now, Bezos is getting out in front of the potential Washington state wealth tax. He also took a large bite out of any revenue projections as well too. Citadel, Tyreek Hill. The article is long, but you get the drift. You get the drift. All right. These are the most expensive zip codes in the United States for house shoppers. You want a house? You want to build your family? Or you just want to looking for a tax write-off? Here you go. The costliest U.S. postal code in the U.S., and I have one for Florida, specifically from Business Journal, and I'll pull that up, is the home to an NBA player and a tech billionaire, among other rich and famous folks. Let's go. I don't know how to say. I just say Sagponack. I'm sure I'm Saga Ponak. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. New York. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but it's okay. So let's go to the zip codes here. Let's hop down. Let's see if they got it. Okay, here we go. Right here. Atherton, California, median home sale price in 2023, 8.3 million. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong, but Sagaponack, is 8 million. Miami Beach 5.5, Santa Barbara 5 million, Beverly Hills 4.8, Stinson Beach, California 4.5, Watermill 4.5, Newport Beach, California 4.4, Santa Monica 4.4, Medina, Washington 4.3, Rancho Santa Fe. I was going to say Rancho. Ranchos. Santa Fe 4.2 million, right? So that's that one. But let's go to Florida. And let me select Tampa here. And this is the one with the zip codes. Let me get signed in as well so I can search. And then let me do zip codes here. And then I thought I saved it, but I might have, but let me look at it. Okay, right here. Let's go here. All right. Here's how much you need to afford a home in Tampa Bay's most expensive zips. How much you're gonna need to afford a home in Tampa Bay's most expensive zip codes. Oh, hold on, let me turn my sound off. Do 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 do. All right, let's go. All right, it's getting harder to buy a home in Tampa Bay. The most expensive zip codes, according to an analysis from Zillow and Bankrate, Nationally, median homes inched up 0.67% between 2022 and 2023. All right, so based on the current median values, interest rates, and assumed 10% down, it takes a median household income of at least 100,000 to afford a median price home in 28% of the 23,000 zip codes. For comparison, the national median income was 74,000. All right, let me blow that up a little bit. Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg led the way locally, accounting for the top eight most most expensive zip code, followed by Palm Harbor, Apollo Beach, were the near bottom. Bel Air Beach, 33786, topped all others with the median home price of 990,000, requiring annual mortgage payments of 70,000, would take a minimum annual income of 250,000. So let's go here. Let's go back to our link, which is here, 33786, and let's look at 33786. All right, let's go here and let's look at houses. Let's get off of condos. Let's apply. All right, so they're saying you would need a minimum of 247,000. Well, you want to know what you get in this zip code? Let me remove the filters from high to low. Here's what you typically see over there. Let's go from low to high. 830,000 is the lowest. 830,000 is the lowest. I'm just doing housing. I'm not doing condos. So this is what you get: a 2 bedroom, 2 bath at 1360 square feet. 1360 square feet. This is what you're getting: 2 bedroom, 2 bath. You're not even on the water. Looks like a great Airbnb. You get a backyard. You get a little play in the backyard. They could have put a little pool back there. They ain't have to make the patio so big. They had to make the patio so big. They could put a little. I guess because you right down the beach, you right down the street from the water. But okay, all right, all right. So let's go back to our next one. The top 10 most expensive zip codes in the Tampa Bay area. Bel Air, the median home value 992, annual mortgage of 75,000, minimum annual income 247. I'm showing you jobs at 250, 400, 500,000. You can get you a home. I'm showing you. You can get you a home. I'm showing you. And that's on one job. I'm showing you on one job what you can get on one job. All right, let's go. Next one up, Tampa Bay, 33629. Medium home, 968. Medium annual mortgage, 73,000. Minimum annual income, 241. Minimum annual income, 241. You gotta include your debt in that. So 33,629. 33,629. 33,629. Let's go back. 33,629. All right, let's go with high. We got some highs in there. That's what we're looking like on the high end. This is what you're seeing on the high end. Just scrolling through on the high end. Now let's go on the low end. 549 is the on the low end. 549. So they're saying the median over there is 968. you're gonna need 241. So you can go low, high. All right, let's go. Next one up, 3306. I mean 33606. Median 870. Annual mortgage 65. Minimum annual income 217. Minimum annual income 217. All right, so now let's go 33606. 33606. On the low, this is an outlier. That's a one bedroom, one bath. But 724 looks like the lowest there. On let's go high, 11.9 million, 6 million, 6.1, 5.2, 3.1. I'm assuming this is one unit. 2.75, 2.6. All right. 2.75, 2.6. You need an annual income of 217. Indian Rocks Beach. Need an annual income of 203. Um, Annual mortgage of 61. Median is 814. That comes in at number 4. Clearwater, where everybody like to go, annual 200,000, 60,000 on an annual mortgage. 803 is the median home value. St. Petersburg, 33704. You know where that's at? That's on the north side. 33704. I did one. Let's go. 33704. We go. On the high side, well, right here, see where that cluster is at by Vinoy Park. 13 million, 8 million, 7, whatever, whatever. Let's flip it. Let's go from the low to the high. You can get a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 756 square feet for 350. 440 for 2-1. A 3-2, 469. 3-2, 520. A 3-2, 1,200 square feet, 625. That's where you're looking at, right? So let's go back. So that's number 6. Number 7, 33701. Need an annual income of 181,000. Median home prices in that area 700,000. Annual mortgage is about 54. So if you want to look at 33701, 33701, still in the same vicinity, not too far. For a house on the low end, on a 3-1. If we want a 3-2, we're gonna have to jump up to 369, 435, 450. If you want to be on the higher end of the scale, if you like, yo, I'm balling in this one, your houses are gonna be around 2.65. In that area. 2.65. If you want to live downtown, new construction, condos going at 1.6. If you want to live downtown, the art house is what it looks like. If you want to live downtown, right? All right, next one up, St. Pete Beach, 177 annual income, 53,000 annual mortgage, 685 for the median house, 33706. We go here, 33706. On the high end, you can see an outlier of 17 million. You see around the 7s, the 4s, around the 3s. Looks like more popular around the 3s there. All right. So if we go on the low end of this one, we are at 500,000 minimum. You're at 500,000 minimum. If you want something probably a little newer, refresh, you're probably gonna have to go up to the sevens. You're gonna have to go up to the sevens, and you can see right here where that is at. It's on the water here. You're over here in South Pasadena, Treasure Island area on the water. I show you my favorite area out here. I can't. I should have. I wanted that house, but somebody beat me to it. My area is this right here. Showcase. Look out over the water. Boom. Back up to the water. You got your dock. Boom. A little pool there. Your kitchen. Boom. Boom. Need a little refresh in this, but it's doable. It's livable. You can live in it while you upgrade. You can live in it while you upgrade. Uh, let's see. The other one that's over here, that's the 7.25 million. Oh, I remember this house. Do you remember this? You remember this house? Boom, boom. This why it hadn't sold. Well, I don't nobody know what to do with this. That's why it ain't sold. No one wants to do it. No one knows what to do with that hole. Nobody wants to put that kind of money in there. The floors are nice though. Great location. But nobody knows to do that other part. Right? And last but not least, the $2 million home that's over there. Let me go right here. This one is 2 million. Back up to the water. You can see the lot, how it's shaped. Pool, little dock. You see your neighbors got docks. 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 29,600, 2906 square feet. Right? So that's what you're looking at in these areas. I'm just showing you. Right? Palm Harbor. I don't want to live up there. Palm Harbor, 175 annual, 30, 52, 53,678 median. Some people like Palm Harbor. It's money out there. I'm gonna lie to you. 34,681. It's money up there, but not my thing. 34,681. 34,681. Palm Harbor. Let's go. Look, they don't even come up. Let me remove the boundary. It didn't even come up with nothing. Let me make sure I put in the right number. 34,681. 34681. Yeah, no match, no home, nothing. It didn't come up with nothing. So probably have to go to Redfin and look up that zip code on Redfin. Odessa. D, have you been to Odessa? 33556. 33556. 33556. 33556. All right. So if we go sort by high low, 4.8 million looks like 3 million is roughly about the range on your more, if you want to be in a more expensive home. It's not bad right here. Like you get some land right here. Five bedroom, five bath, 5,225 square feet. Look like you get some land. You don't have nobody bunched up next to you. Look a little bit more modern, right? How many acres do you get? Out here in Odessa for this one, 3.2 acres. So you get 3.2 acres out there on a 2.4 million. Not bad. Let's go from low to high. You get you some mobile homes. Looks like your three twos. Let me sort this. Let me get rid of this. Get just do houses here. It looks like you're coming in about 400,000 on a house. When you start getting up to 4, 3, 5, 24, 2,500 square feet, you look like you got a lot more room out there. Look like you got a lot more room out there, right? And that was it. Those were all the zip codes that it came with, and it says here, to a 4.5 million is by 16% for 10. The largest that was the largest increase of any zip code. Median house topped at 250, and they went on to talk about East Coast tourist destinations. Nationally, there are 14 zip codes where it takes at least 1 million to afford a home in 2023. That's down from 16 a year ago. The median home values dropped year over year for 10 of those $14 million markets for 2023. And so here's the zip codes where you need a minimum of $1 million in annual income. $1 million in annual income. All right. So if you want to live in Atherton, Miami Beach, Beverly Hills, Aspen, I guess Saga Ponak, Watermill, Montecito, Los Altos Hills, Rancho, Santa Fe, Medina, Newport, Santa Monica, Newport, and Brunswick, Georgia, which was surprised me on this list. Brunswick, Georgia, you need a minimum to live in that area $1 million. 31,561. 31,561. 31,561. So in Brunswick, Georgia, you need $1 million to live. I'm gonna go. That's my low to high. I did low to high. The lowest in that zip code is 4.8 million. If I go high to low, 17.9 million. Sea Island. You saw that pool? This is your estate. This is what your estate looks like. That's an Olympic sized pool. You can do laps in that. With the water chute going across. With the water chute going across. This old money. They've been in there forever. You can look at how it's decorated. That one, 17.5 million. 15,000 square feet. If we go on the low end down here at the 4.8 million, let's do this one for 4.9. This is 4.9. Basic. Got a baby pool in the back. Go sit in it, walk around, have a couple of drinks. Right? So in New Brunswick, this is Sea Island. Sea Island. Since its development in the 1920s, Sea Island has attracted well-heeled and powerful clientele, including visits from 6 United States presidents. In recent years, homeowners have included the Attorney General Griffin B. Bell, the Atlanta Braves pitcher John Smoltz, and CBS News anchor Bob Schaefer. And this is Sea Island right here on the map right there. And they have a resort on the island. Let's go and look at that. It looks like got 6 tennis courts, huge resort. Let me go. I'm trying to get to the website. 95 years, over 65 years, listed on the floor as a five-star awards. Make your reservation. You can go hang out on Sea Island. You can pick the cottages, the lodge, the end. You want to know where to prop up a happy hour at? Ladies, fellas, you want to know where to prop up a happy hour at? You want to know? Do you want to know? Someone needs to do like Florida and build those artificial islands off the Georgia coast, so they'll leave platforms alone and Tybee. That ain't gonna happen. I lived in Savannah and would love a place out there because you're not far from the beaches. Yep. More value here in Odessa. Yep. Yep. So New Brunswick, you need $1 million minimum of annual income to live on Sea Island. You are a peasant at your 200,000. You are a peasant at your 200,000, right? So let's get rid of that. We talked about the NASA and the Opal stack. Let's get rid of that. And we looked at that. And we looked at that. All right, so let's go. We did that. Let's talk about Lumen. Lumen CEO buys nearly 1 million in stock after the historic sell-off. 1 million in stock after the historic sell-off. Lumen stock has shed 91% over the last 2 years and saw its sharpest one-day percentage decline on a record Wednesday. Lumen Technologies shares sold off sharply in the wake of earnings, but the telecommunications company executive has been buying. CEO Kate Johnson scooped up 1 million in shares Thursday at the average price of 97 cents. Did you get your shares? Spending $970,000 according to a filing in the SEC. Johnson's buying spree came on the heels of a historic sell-off in Lumen shares Wednesday, or 32.9% to 98%, and clinched its largest single day percentage decline. Shares touched as low, excuse me, at 78 cents in Thursday's session, the day of Johnson's purchasing, though they ended that session at $1.06, then moved higher Friday at $1.12. And if she was smart, she would have took them gains and sold them on them gains. If she would have took them gains and sold them on them gains. She bought at 78 cents and then she go back and sell them. They at 112. 112 where the players dwell, right? After buying the latest batch of stocks, Johnson now owns 5.1 million shares of Lumen, according to Friday's filing. Lumen didn't immediately respond to the Market Watch request for comment of the stock purchase. Johnson took over as Lumen's CEO about a year ago and has been tasked with turn around the company, which provides networking and cloud storage and more. Shares have tumbled 81% over the past year and 91% over the past 2 years. Lumen shares have been on the decline. All right. But if I was her, I would have took some of them gains to recoup some of that money. All right. All right. IRA announces 2024 retirement account contribution limits: 23,000 for your 401k, 7,000 for your IRA. There are catch-up contributions. Let's get into it. Again, when you contribute into your 401k, especially those that have that 10%, 15%, 12%, 25% going into there, max that out. Max that out. Hey, anytime you invest in your 401k, you're going to get taxes. I don't care how y'all look at it. You invest in your IRA, you're going to get taxed. You going into your annuity, you get taxed. Tax deferred, tax now, tax later, however you want to slice that, right? The IRS was increased. The IRS has increased the 401k contributions to 23,000 into the workplace plans, up from 22.5. The agency also boosted the IRA to 7,000 for 2024. The for savers age 50 and older will remain at 7,500. The new amount also applies to 403b plans and 457 and thrift saving plans. The agency also boosted contributions. Where did it go? The agency also boosted contributions for IRAs, allowing investors 7,000 in 2024, up from 2,500, and catch-up contributions will remain unchanged at 1,000. In 2024, more Americans qualify for Roth IRAs, with the adjusted gross income phase out at 146 and 161 for single individuals and head of households. So 146 for single individuals, and for head of households 161, up from 138 and 153. So it's going to be at 200 before long. Your 200 going to be in a Roth. Watch. All right, your Roth IRA phase out for married couples filing together will raise between 230 and 240, up from between 218 and 228. The IRS also increased the income ranges to qualify for retirement savings contribution credits and the ability to deduct pre-tax IRA deposits within the workplace. So let's click on that. All right. The max I believe that you and the employer can put in is 73,000 there. It was 69. There's still time for some retirement savers to claim an extra tax write-off. The retirement savings contribution credit may make it easier for some to set aside more money, and there's still time to qualify. And this is 2021. This is old. But anyway, eligible filers can, and I don't know if y'all ever heard of this, right? Have y'all ever heard of the retirement savings contribution credit? Let's go there. Let's go to your IRS. You may be able to take a tax credit for making eligible contributions to your IRA or employer sponsored plan. Also, you may be eligible for a credit for contributions to achieving a better life experience able account if you are designated beneficiary. Who's eligible for a credit? Age 18, not claimed as a dependent on another person's return, and not a student. You were a student if during any part of the 5 calendar months of the tax year were enrolled as a full-time student at a school, or took full-time or on-farm training courses given by a school, state, or county or local government. The amount of the tax credit, right? Depending on your adjusted gross income reported on your 1040 series, the amount of credit is 50%, 20%, or 10%. Contributions you make to your traditional or Roth IRA, elective salary deferral, 401k, 403b, 457. Voluntary after-tax employee contributions may be qualified, made to a qualified retirement plan, thrift savings, 403b, a 50c 18d plan, contributions made to an ABLE account for which you are designated beneficiary. Rollover contributions do not apply. The maximum contribution amount that may qualify for this credit is 2,000, 4,000 if married, making a maximum credit 1,000 or 2,000 filing joint. Use the chart below to calculate your tax credit. All right, it says Jill, and this is an example. Jill works at a retail store, is married, and earned 41,000 in 2021. Jill's spouse is unemployed in 2021 and didn't have any earnings. Jill contributed $2,000 to her IRA for 2021. After deducting her IRA contribution, the adjusted gross income shown on her joint return is 39,000. Jill may claim 50% credit of that 1,000 for her 2,000 IRA contribution on her tax return. Right? So they're going through here what that looks like. The savers credit. That was for 2023. I'm sure they probably upped it for 2024. So again, just showing you different stuff. All right. Here you can still score on your 2022 pre-tax. That's 2022. There's still some time for some retirement savings over with the claim and extra tax write-off. That's what I just talked about. And this one here. So today I kind of talked about your portfolio, your mutual funds, your bonds, your indexes. You just talked about the tax credits, you just talked about increasing. But how can you use AI in real estate? And how can you use AI with your finding land? Or what can be done with that property? So I thought this was a good video to show you how to use AI and Chat GPT on your stuff. So let's get into this.
Hey, how's it going? Seth here. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about a title search issue and also like a due diligence issue that plays a lot into land entitlements. Say if you are trying to buy a piece of vacant land and you want to understand what can be done with this piece of vacant land. Could I build a house on it? Could I build a commercial property on it? Can I farm on it? Can I do nothing with it? What am I able to do with this property? And there's a lot of different things you have to look at to really understand this completely. But one of the things that you really want to pay attention to is the local zoning ordinance, and also understand if there's any restrictions on the property, like deed restrictions or protective covenants on the property. These are basically things that at some point in the past, somebody, when they subdivided the property or created some kind of a development, put what they call deed restrictions. Sometimes they go by other names, but it basically limits what you can do with that property in the future. And I think the idea behind these is ultimately to help protect and preserve everybody's property values in the area. But it can also be a huge pain because maybe you can't do what you otherwise would be able to do because of these restrictions there. So I'm going to try to illustrate this and explain how this works with a
So are y'all up on this so far? So he's talking about he's doing a title search. Sometimes it may be difficult to find out what the zoning issues are or what's the zoning in the area. You may do a title search and find some information, but then it's maybe hard to understand what they're talking about or what you can do and what you can't do. So he's going to use AI to help explain what you can do, what you can't do, and maybe do a further investigation or maybe get a recommendation on further investigations that he can do for himself. All right, so let's go.
Perspective deal I was looking at. So this is a property in Michigan that I was looking at with the hope of developing a self-storage facility on it. And you'll know that it's pretty vacant. But I also thought it was interesting how, a lot of the properties around it were vacant too. And I didn't really understand why. And when we zoom out a little bit, we can see that same property. And there's just not a whole lot going on around here. So I called up the listing broker that was listing this property for sale to ask what he knew about it in terms of, could I build a self-storage facility here? Do you know anything about that could help me? And he pointed out a couple documents and he sent them to me. This is the first one. This is the local zoning ordinance. So given how this property was zoned, he told me to look at pages 164, 165, and 166. So this property specifically was zoned industrial in the industrial district. And if you've ever read through this kind of zoning ordinance, you probably know it's easy to fall asleep really quickly. Even when you know what you're looking for, it's hard to really understand what is actually relevant here. I know what I want, but it's just kind of hard to find where is that stuff here. And if I look at this through the lens of self-storage facility, can I do that here? And I can read through all this stuff. It talks about a lot of stuff that's not relevant to me. It's okay, just show me the self-storage stuff. Show me the stuff that's relevant that I might care about. It can just be kind of hard to find that and really make sure you're seeing everything. So what I'm going to do is just highlight all this stuff. And there's this awesome AI chatbot called Claude. And depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching this 5 years in the future, I'm not sure if Claude will still be a big thing or not, but this is one of these highly intelligent AI chatbots. And the really nice thing about this is that you can put a lot of information into one prompt. For example, I could probably copy and paste this entire PDF into one prompt and tell Claude, I'm trying to build a self-storage facility and I'm looking through this zoning ordinance to see if there's anything in here that would prohibit or disallow me from building this type of property in a industrial district, because that's how this property is zoned. So I'm just going to paste this text right here and it's going to paste it as a text file. So in addition to this text I just pasted from the zoning ordinance, I'm going to say, I'm trying to build a self-storage facility on a property zoned industrial. And after reading through the Manistee Township zoning ordinance, I'm not sure if I'm comprehending everything. So I'd like some help reading through this to determine whether a self-storage facility would be permitted, including outdoor boat and RV storage. I'm going to paste the text from the zoning ordinance, and I'd like your help in reviewing it to see if a self-storage facility would be feasible. Here it is. And as you saw, I already pasted that relevant text. So let's see what it says. Okay, it says, based on my review of the zoning ordinance you provided, it appears that a self-storage facility would be allowed in the industrial district, but with some specific requirements and limitations. So it just kind of gives me a nice bullet-pointed list of things to be aware.
So did y'all think that was cool? I thought it was cool. Instead of you reading through all the documents, you ask the exact question of what you're trying to do, and based on the document that you put in there, it'll go through and summarize and pull out the necessary documents. I don't know how many of y'all have ever looked through some of these documents and try to understand what it means, what you can do and what you can't do. It can be cumbersome.
And then it says, so in summary, a self-storage facility would be allowed, but outdoor storage of boats, RVs, etc., would require special approval. There are also parcel size, setback, and potential buffer requirements. So this is awesome. If I were to just read through the original text, I may or may not pull out those critical pieces of information. I mean, if you're anything like me, my reading comprehension is really not good. If I'm not entertained by what I'm reading, it's just really hard for me to follow everything that's going on and find the stuff that really matters. And this is just an amazing way to save a lot of time and also doing a much better job of pulling out the relevant information. So this is an awesome use case for this kind of chatbot, especially one like Claude that can handle a lot of text and read through all of it. But again, with this property, it's not just the zoning ordinance I need to worry about. I'm also aware of these restated Declaration of Protective Covenants that apply to this entire neighborhood of industrial properties. And this could possibly give us some insight into why so many of these surrounding parcels are vacant as well. Maybe there's too many restrictions in place, or maybe there's a reason that a lot of other businesses are scared off from developing here because these protective covenants put a little too much strain on what people are able to do here. So this is an issue that you have to do a title search in order to discover whether these even exist in relation to your property. So if you're doing your own title search, this kind of thing should come up if it affects your property. And if you're hiring a title company to do this for you, they may not give this to you outright, but you can ask them for the supporting documents to show what they pulled in the title search so you can see all the stuff they looked at. And this would be one of those things. So once you have these and once you're aware that those are in place, this is another thing you want to take a look at and be aware of to figure out, are there even more hoops I'm going to have to jump through? Are there even more restrictions and potential problems I'll have to navigate through in order to do what I want to do? Because sometimes these protective covenants or deed restrictions can be kind of crazy and it prohibits.
And you can see right here, it says, whereas the city owns the certain real property located in, I guess, Manistee Township, commonly known as Manistee Renaissance Park, and did on or about November the 18th of 1997 create easements, restrictions, covenants, conditions affecting such property for the purpose of developing the same as an industrial park and for mutual benefit of the purchasers. And I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means. What does that mean? What does that mean? And so I'm showing you from a perspective of like, okay, in your portfolio that you're building, because we're talking about W-2 multimillionaire. I'll do a deeper dive on the 1099 millionaire. I'll come up with the structure, the pyramid, the whole nine. But in that portfolio that you're building, whether it's 1099 or W-2, if you would like to add real estate, and there are things that you do not understand about the title search, what is the document trying to tell you? Here is one way you can utilize this in order to get an understanding of that. And on top of that, you can also utilize this to get an understanding of any new declarations that come out as well too in your county or in that particular city or in that particular area. You can get that information. All right, so let's finish this up.
Most of the potential uses that you might have in mind. This kind of thing is very, very common in homeowners associations because they want all of the parcels in that neighborhood to just be houses, and they want all those houses to look very similar. So this is not uncommon at all. You definitely want to be aware of this because it's going to affect what you could do with the property and or what the future buyer of the property can do with it. Once you have this kind of thing, you could read through it line by line and try to understand what it's saying and try to understand which of these things do and don't pertain to your property and what you hope to do with it. Or alternatively, we could just upload the PDF directly to Claude and ask it to take a look for us and find out any other potential issues that.
Now, this time he didn't highlight the text. He's going to upload the entire PDF and let it spit out what it means.
Cause problems with the development of a self-storage facility or fill in the blank, whatever it is you hope to do with the property. So I'm going to say thanks. There are also some protective covenants attached to this property. Can you read through this and let me know if anything stands out to you as something we need to be concerned with? So I'm going to attach this PDF and let's see what it's able to find. Okay, so it says, after reviewing the protective covenants document, here are the key points that stood out to me in relation to your plans for a self-storage facility. The covenants specify that the land is to be used for industrial plants and supporting facilities. A self-storage business may or may not align with the intent for industrial use. This should be reviewed more closely. And then approval is required from the sellers for the site plan and building plans prior to construction. This would be an important step. And this right here actually ended up being a fairly significant issue because the situation with this property is that it's actually owned by the city. And what the city wants is for anyone who develops a new building here, they want them to actually bring jobs to the area. For example, building a manufacturing plant where workers come on site and work there, and it just creates jobs in the area. And a self-storage facility like the one that I would be building would not check that box at all. Because of that requirement and some of the other stuff with this particular site, we ended up deciding to just not do this because there were too many unknowns, and that issue in particular we felt would be kind of a show showstopper. And this is the kind of thing where if I were to read through this thing line by line as it's written, I just know myself and I know that there's a
Yep. And you're welcome, Shay. Thinks I can use this as I am navigating FEMA and their mapping restrictions. Exactly. So I just wanted to bring this to you because what's inclusive of this? AI prompt, creating AI prompts, another AI tool. But for those that are want to actually start building out their real estate inside their portfolio and are looking at titles and zoning and trying to understand things, help you speed up your process on what you can do and what you can't do. You look at a lot, you go do a title search on it or what have you, whatever the case may be, and now you have an idea of what you could do with that particular property. You got it all summed up. Go down, march down like Tom and Jerry with the hat when they were marching. March down to your local location and say, hey, these are the plans I would like to do. Here's what it is. To possibly get it approved, whatever the case may be. But now you know, right? Now you know. I thought that was cool, and I thought that was a cool way to introduce my next topic. So my next topic up is the most in-demand AI job of 2023 can pay over 200,000 and offers remote opportunities. All right, nearly 1 year since ChatGPT was introduced to the world, the excitement surrounding generative artificial intelligence has hardly waned, especially in the job market. Searches for generative AI jobs on Indeed have increased by 4,000% in the last year, and openings for generative AI jobs are up 306% over the same period. While the number of AI postings on ZipRecruiter has fallen from the highs it saw in 2022, the sheer volume of available AI jobs on the platform is still much greater. Now that now than it was before the pandemic, says ZipRecruiter chief economist Julia Pollack. The most sought after AI jobs are hiring for isn't in engineering as you expect. Data scientist is the hottest AI job on the market now. In the last 6 months, it was the most advertised AI job on Indeed and the second most on ZipRecruiter. Was it Cloma Loma? I have been catching hell. Yep. According to the data exclusively shared by CNBC. The growing demand for AI data scientists, while data scientists have been working with AI for years, demand for these professionals has surged in recent months as much more companies roll out AI related products to make their workplace more efficient to improve the customer's experience. Um, says Trey Causey, ahead of the responsible AI at Indeed. Data scientists play a critical role in achieving this business goal. He adds, by collecting, analyzing, and interpreting the huge quantities of data from newer AI models to help companies make smart business decisions. No IRC. The hiring landscape for data scientists specializing in AI has shifted beyond tech to include financial services, aerospace, media, and other industries, all of which are searching for hiring budgets to get these professionals on staff or create new roles for them. In 2021, a lot of the hiring that took place for AI data scientist role was initially for temporary contract or freelance roles, right? Now enough times has passed and the companies can see the benefits of AI and are making long-term investments. How to become an AI data scientist. I'm not going to read through all of that. Six figures process and freedom to work from home. We got the idea there. Here is where they're talking about senior role salaries, well over 200. A job ad for senior staff AI scientists at a startup range from 151 to 207. AI scientists, GE Health from 176 to 296. There are a dozen remote opportunities, so forth and so on. And here I see they got probably ZipRecruiter in here. Yeah, I won't sign in, but you get the idea For your data scientists, we'll go from, let's go from, I don't know, let's do, yeah, Denver. All right, data scientists, 100 to 185. This is on ZipRecruiter. Intern, Aurora, geospatial, 91, 182, 246 for Dash Chief Data Science. Senior DevOps again comes up 150, 180. Data scientist with Python and so forth. So you got an idea there. You can probably use levels FYI to show you the larger end scales on it. This article I agree with. I had up to 4 offers within 1 year. Many more still asking if I'm available. Yep, that's a that's across the board. That's across the board. You can go to Dice or Indeed, and you can type in AI or data scientist, and see what your results is. I just did remote. If I remove remote and just let it filter anywhere, it's about 10,000 jobs that show up there. If I go back here and type in uh, platform engineer, if hit search, we got 66,000 jobs for platform engineer. If we do SRE engineer and hit search, we got 1181 on here. And if we do DevSecOps or DevOps, if I do DevOps, I'm probably going to get a better hit than DevSecOps. If I do DevOps, I get 4551. If I do DevSecOps, I do search there, 4358. There may be some overlap there. So about roughly about 4,500. And if I just type in the word Linux and I just hit search, it's 38,000 jobs that have the word Linux in it. You can go from there, right? If you do AWS and hit search, about 45,000 jobs. It's got some form of AWS in it. Azure 35, GCP, hit search, about 12,000. If I hit security and hit search, 57,000. What does that look like? That could be anything, but I'm just typing in keywords here, right? So again, know thyself. Know thyself. All right, so let me make sure I covered everything. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. I don't want to talk about Larry Fink. Average credit score. I don't know if that's any good news to you or bad news to you. If you want to hear that, cancel. Click here. Yeah, you're saying Bankman Free. He got convicted on everything there. Found guilty on fraud. Um, one thing Diamond Dave said that I agree with. He fitted the mold, the tech mold, and so forth. There won't be this the last string for the week. He fitted the tech mold for everything, and he still came out to be a fraud. So I mean, all right. So FTX was convicted on all 7 accounts on which he was tried. He was awaiting sentence. A sprawling and sometimes technical case was ultimately decided in a matter of hours. They'd already made their mind up. Bateman Free stood to hear the jury's verdict and once found guilty on all charges sat back down without much sign of emotions. His parents, who attended court each day, had staunchly maintained their son's innocence since he was charged, looked distraught. As Bankman Fried was escorted away, he looked back at his parents, acknowledging them with a small, resigned nod. His mother pounded her hand against her chest, producing a thump that could be heard around the empty courtroom and was led out. He faces up to 115 years. 115. The U.S. government has accused Bankman Fried of overseeing a multi-billion-dollar fraud. There is a new court case out against the Winklevosses and two other ones for their crypto fund. Be cautious on what you invest in and go from there. Whereby money belonging to FTX customers was sweeping into a sibling company, Alameda Research, and used to fund high risk trades, debt repayment, personal loans, political donations, in a life of luxury in the Bahamas. The exchange collapsed in November 22 after it failed to meet customer withdrawals. The defense attempt to argue that Bankman Fried had acted as a rational business person among trying market conditions and never intended to defraud anyone. Bankman Fried even took the stand himself against conventional legal wisdom to appeal directly to the jury's sympathies, but confronted with testimony from members of the Bankman Fried inner circle who spoke of their own guilt, as well as customers and investors who lost money in the fall of FTX. All right, I'm not gonna read it all. I think you heard enough about the case. You know what's going on with Sam Bankman Fried. Yep, yeah. Well, I mean, his girlfriend didn't snitch on him. I'm gonna say he didn't have his girlfriend back. He was like, she made poor decisions. He was doing X, Y, and Z. He had other women there. Like, if you read her case, I don't know if you read her story, the girlfriend story, but the girlfriend story was like he was talking to her crazy. You can't talk to him crazy too, and then bring other women around him and do your do in front of her. Yeah, she gonna snitch. SBF girlfriend, her diary. I don't know if you read her diary, uh, but her diary came out uh some time ago. And in her diary, she's like, the attorneys, SBF has leaked ex-girlfriend diary to NYT to fight toxic media, right? And then she also has a story, as well too. She also has her own story. I suggest you go read that story so you get an idea of what she stated. Like, he wouldn't give her a raise. She was the one setting up stuff, helping him build it up. He gave all his friends equity. He wouldn't give her any equity in the company. What you think she was gonna do? You can't take her and be like, yeah, babe, we cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give you equity. And then he go get all his friends equity. And then he be like, yeah, babe, we cool. I'm gonna get it. She's like, so you say you was gonna give me the equity? And he like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the equity. Uh-huh. And then I'm gonna toss you to the side, and then I don't give you no equity. And then I'm gonna bring my new girls around and we doing our thing, and you spending money on them, but she can't get no equity. She can't get no regular salary, nothing like that. Come on, man. You can't do that girl like that. She sung, I'm like a bird, I wanna fly away. She gonna sing. She gonna sing. Listen, if they giving me 115 years and you treated me like trash, you think I'm gonna take the fall? I'm not your girl. I'm not taking the fall for 115 years with you, and I don't get no money, and I don't get no equity, and they're gonna take all the money that we done ever made. They finna take all that. All that money is gone. Every last bit of it. Whatever's he got hidden somewhere, they're gonna be trying to track that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out. I'm making sure I covered everything. Make sure we got through Lumen. We got through everybody. We talked about everything. We talked about 1099 W2. Talked about the multimillionaire joint last week or week before last. I think you got everything y'all needed out of the day. Oh, did I talk about this one? Yep, I did. With the chat GPT, you got the links on how to invest, how to look into mutual funds, how to look into all these other different things. We got everything from there. Those that are going to KubeCon, um, see you. Those that are at Afrotech, have fun, get all the information you can, make all the connects that you can, go from there. And as well as um make sure that you all are doing your due diligence before you invest. I didn't look at it. I saw the stuff with the trucking lady, with the $100 million trucking lady that everybody got robbed from the trucking lady. I saw that. I saw a couple of other clips on people getting their money taken, and then just DJ envying them. Listen, I'm not telling you to invest in nothing that I'm investing in. I'm not telling you to invest in nothing that I tell you to invest in. What I am telling you is to invest in yourself, understand how to do the due diligence, go to the actual IRS website. If you don't understand, I just showed you a website where you can put in information and it'll break it down to you where you can understand it. If you don't understand what the IRS is saying, download that information as a PDF or a text and say, please help explain to me what this means for my 401k. Oh, that's what. Before we get out of here, before we get out of here, I did want to do this one. Let me see if it's on here. It's not. Okay. Um, all right. So this is okay. This is what I wanted to say. I forgot about this. All right. So remember I told you I had found that job that has the 401k uh match. Uh-oh, I got the wrong screen. Do 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 do. The 401k match, right? So they do 10% into your 401k and then they do a 12% match. 10% to your 401k and then they do a 12% match. Now, I said here, it says companies that provide, and let me blow it up too, right? Companies that provide dollar for dollar matches contribute the same amount of money that the employees do on their plans. So if you contribute $100 per check, your company will set aside the same amount of money in your account. But there's a limit, usually up to a certain percentage of your salary, right? So I pulled this out here because I wanted you all to look at Investopedia has 4K matching and how it works. And they have an example. They have examples on this site. Close that on how 401k matching works. Again, understand in that W2 millionaire one, I showed you where companies are do a 10% and then they'll do 5%. They'll do 10% automatically and they'll do 5% matching. So they automatically put in 10% and then they'll do 5% matching. So what does that mean? It's 5% up to a certain number or what have you. Again, this is where you all got to look at, right? This is what y'all got to look at. So when we're talking about the matching, the 3, 4, 5, the 3, 4, 5, 6% match is okay, but then there are companies that do that still do the 10, the 12, and 25% automatically into your 401k, and then you add your contribution on that, and then now you got you as the employee and the employer putting in together, and it's the same thing on the match side where they automatically put in a 10% and they do a match as well too. So you have to look and see what that match is up to, in order to find out, what's going to be your maximum every year. See, it says here most often employers match the employee contributions up to a percentage of the annual income. This limit may be imposed in one of a few different ways. Your employer may elect to match 100% of your contributions. Again, there are some companies that do 200% of your contributions up to a percentage of your total compensation. And this is key, your total compensation, not your base salary, but your total compensation. There's a difference. If you don't know what the difference between total comp and base is, you got a long way to go. Or to a match of the percentage of contributions up to a limit. Though the total limit on your employer contributions remain the same, the later scenario requires you to contribute more to your plan to receive the maximum possible match. Right? And so they go into a whole lot how matching works. They break it down here. They have an example of it. But wait, there's more. You can use Chat GPT, right? Let's see. Let me see if I think 4.0 work, but let's see. Let's see. Can you explain IBM? What is it called? RBA? RBA? What is that? Or is it BRA benefit something account? Is it RBA? IBM RBA. Retirement benefits account. That's what we're in. Retirement benefits. See if it will return anything. All right. IBM provides retirement benefits. This is a 401k, blah, blah, blah. Pre-tax, IBM also provide matching contributions. So it's not catching the latest here. IBM has historic offered traditional benefit, cash balance plan, retirement medical benefits, ESOP, retirement planning, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it don't have, it's not catching that. So let's say, can you explain what a individual benefits account is? See, an IBA is a financial account that employer or benefits provider provides an individual employee to manage and allocate certain employee benefits. It's a mechanism used to give employees more control and flexibility over benefits, allowing them to make choices and decisions about how to use their allocated benefits within the framework set by the or employer or benefits provider. And I'm gonna keep reading, making sure that was big enough. The concept of an individual benefits account is often associated with flexible benefit plans, also known as cafeteria plans or flex plans, where employees can choose from a menu of benefit options to create a customized benefit package that suits their specific needs. These benefits may include health insurance, retirement contributions, life insurance, disability insurance, and other perks like wellness and educational assistance. Here's how an individual benefits account typically works. Allocation of benefits at the beginning of the year, the benefits enrollment period, or as part of an onboarding process, employees are given a set amount of dollars, a dollar amount, or a certain number of benefit credits. This is the total value of benefits they can choose from the available options, the benefit selection, the flexibility, the account management, and the tax benefits. In some cases, using an IBA can provide tax advantages for employees. Contributions to certain benefits like HSA or 401k retirement may include pre-tax basis, reducing the taxable income as well. It's important to note that specific features and benefits available through an IBA can vary widely from employer. Employees should carefully review the options available to them, seek guidance from the employee's HR department. So that is what they have deemed an IBA is. I've shown this before in case those that are like wondering what that means when I say these things on what an IBA could look like. Just pull this up because I think this is what they're leaning towards with what you call it. So anyway, if you got 100,000 here, the employer is going to put that $25,000 in there in this note from Chat GPT. Here's how you yourself control your benefits. You control how much PTO that you want to take off and when you want to take off, meaning no holidays are really observed. You just pick the holiday you want or you don't want. And then here for as far as your insurance, you pick how you want your insurance, like what plan you want to be in, how much you want to spend. So between these here, they add up to 25,000. Say you elect not to go with the insurance, it goes all that goes towards your IBA, I mean your PTO. So now you have 25,000 for your PTO. This gets paid out to you in a lump sum. So in that lump sum, say you didn't take but a day or two. And so let's say you're left with $23,000 in your IBA. So from the calculator perspective, let's say you like $23,000 and you multiply it by 0.7, you'll get a payout of 16,000 at the beginning of the in the beginning of October or sometimes at the end of the year. And what are you going to do with that? So that's where all that other money comes into play. So that's how IBA works. For those that don't know, and like they say, they vary upon employee. Not everybody has it, but some people do, right? Yeah. So all your insurance is covered through your IBA. You have an allotment for it. And you also have an allotment for your PTO. So basically, your this right here goes into your 401k. So your employer is going to put in 25% of that into your 401k. That's how you come up with a total compensation. That's why I said it's a difference in your base salary. This is your base, and then this is your total compensation. So when they were in here, when he was talking about total comp, was it on this one? It was somewhere I forget where I was reading it. It was based on the total compensation. It was based on the total compensation versus versus your base. Let's look at compensation. I should type total so I can find it. Yeah. So it says here your employer may elect to match 100% of your contributions up to a percentage of your total compensation, of your total comp, not just your base salary. So that's a difference, right? That's a difference. So in okay, so here's another way I've seen IBAs work as well too. Um, this this total comp right here, I mean this compensation right here for your insurance, the employer would just in some cases, in some companies, they just take care of all of your insurance needs. They pay for it. So they pull so really what you're getting is all PTO in your IBA. So you get all PTO. In some cases, with some of the companies, you'll earn in PTO 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 13 weeks. Now you could choose how you want to do those 13 weeks. You could say, hey, I want to be paid out every year, 10 weeks. That's my minimum. I'm gonna take 2 weeks off. Or you could be like, I'm only taking a week off and I want 12 weeks. It depends on how that works for you, how they got it set up. To do scamming is all time high. Correct. People will feed you a lie to see if you will eat it. Yep. Charlene says, Tammy D, I feel like I had a whole college session today for sure. And as always, you always give us the real. Yeah. Yeah. I try to give you the real. This ain't nothing I created or nothing like that. This is me reading it, my interpretation of it, compare that with what the IRS saying. Let me go do some research with other people and what they saying. Let me put this together and how it works. Right? Here are the links. Go read it for yourself. Don't trust me. Trust your own ears and eyes. And then we can discuss. And if I'm off, I'm off. I'll take it. However, you can utilize tools to help you explain and understand those things. You're worth all your salary you get paid. You're one of the most effective and competent instructors and teachers I ever met. You can instruct. Well, I'm assuming that was old, and I think something is blocking my vision. Oh, okay. And aid, I guess aid, instruct, aid, teach, anything. I guess all. I'm not sure on that one. So I hope everybody understands what happened today. I showed you 1099 work. I showed you consultant work. I showed you what they're looking for. I even talked about cloud and the risk that being in one vendor is having, where they're looking at for money. You saw Jeff Bezos moved to Florida and to the Space Canaveral, Space Coast area. Again, what that means, it's probably going to mean more jobs in that area. Where are the jobs at with AI and space and cloud and security? What that looks like. What does that mean for you? What are you going to do with yourself as far as skills? And on top of that, where are you going to invest? What does your portfolio look like? Mutual funds, bonds, index funds, real estate. Uh, the list goes on. Buying a company, merging with people, buying real estate, buying land, creating rentals, whatever. All right. We've touched on a lot of things, but the goal is to get you to think outside of the box, even if you just take one thing away today and think outside of the box. That was my plan. That's our time. It's been real. We out of here.